See, the problem with the world today is that a lot of y'all men were never taught what a real man is and what a real man does. A real man works 7 days a week, comes home to his stay-at-home wife, cooks her a hot meal, does the laundry, makes sure her nails and toes and her hair is done, serves her, does the dishes, makes sure the kids are put away to sleep, gets up in the morning, get them ready for school, and do it all over again. That's a real man.
So as a person that's lived overseas, I've had a chance to look at our culture. So when I see videos like the one I saw before, it just makes me say, come on, man. Because the definition of masculinity for our community seems to be a moving target. And that's just not something that you see overseas. So with that, I actually want to use this video to point out some of those assumed masculine roles, and then I want to kind of debunk them for guys that are planning on going overseas, because you probably don't need to take those with you. So I hope you have your come on man muscles ready.
It's like, man, if you don't shut up and get in a mirror and become a real man.
What is a real
suffer
man?
the wrong. I'm sitting up here yesterday. I'm working all day long. And you know what, my wife was at Pilates. And then she was at the bridge walking with my sister. Then she was getting a facial. And at the end of the day, I want to feel sorry for myself. I want to say, man, how in the world I'm doing all this work? And my wife right here getting facials and in the Pilates and in the gym. I just was at the gym. My wife was at the gym too. I came home to work. My wife going from the gym to Pilates. The Lord said, no, that's what I call you for.
What is the calling?
Your call as a man is to make the burden of a woman lighter. Your call as a man is to put it on your shoulders.
The call of a man is to lighten the burden of a woman. Now, that might actually seem like a legit point in our community, because that's kind of the way we've done things. But I can tell you from experience that technically what he said was the role of a man is to lighten the burden of a woman. And that is essentially not the case. The role of a man is traditionally is protect, provide. I get that part of it. But to do that and to make the load of the woman as light as possible, I don't know about that. It depends on what you mean when you talk about the load. But in terms of overall thinking, most men just don't. They're not thinking, how can I lighten the load for my woman? More than anything, it's cooperation. I'll do this job, you do that job. But this idea of lighten the load for a woman, my job is to make her life as soft as possible, that might be the role for certain rich men. But for the average people that are living average lives, most average men are not thinking like that. And that is something that is in our community that is an accepted role that you probably want to get rid of. So we see that the first expected rule is that your job is to not only protect and provide, but to also make your woman's life as soft as possible. Now, it's one thing to say it's something you can do if you have the ability to, or if you want to. It's another thing to say that it's your job. But anyways, second part.
As men, we want to sit here and try to draw a parallel between men and women. But we ain't never been asked to carry no baby for 9 months. Put on anywhere from 40 to 120 pounds. As men, we ain't never been asked to carry that life within inside of us.
A second thing I've noticed in our culture that's different from other cultures is the way we kind of deify pregnancy. Now, am I saying pregnancy is easy? Of course not. It's very difficult. But in other cultures, pregnancy is almost seen as if it's a duty. If you don't have to get pregnant, but the duty as in, if you're going to be a mother, that's just part of it. If you want to have a family, that's just part of it. It's your job. And I've also noticed that, of course, guys will be happy if their wives are pregnant. But in our community, we take it to a different level. And I'll give you an example of how women overseas see it as their duty. So this is an article from Japan Today, and it's talking about things to expect if you're going to have a child here. And so the first part of the article, it says pain relief in labor is not common. And you see in Japan, which prides itself on gaman or endure bear culture, most women don't even consider the possibility of pain relief in labor. And you'll see the percentages in this next one. Japan's attitudes toward epidurals is in stark contrast to countries like France, where, for example, 83.8% of women use epidural in France in 2016. In Japan, that rate is 5.2%. The great majority of women here do not get epidurals when they are having their children. And from what I've heard from a lot of people is that they don't want to do it because they're afraid of the damage it might do to their child. Of course, attitudes are changing and, you know, they have the birth situation. But when I talk to older ladies who've had children, the first thing they're thinking about is the health of the child. And they don't want to endanger the child by taking drugs during the labor. So that in itself just shows that there's just a different way of looking at pregnancy that is it's very different from the way that we look at it. So the last one could be pregnancy related or self-esteem related, but I'll just let you hear it for yourself.
Why are we going to the gym and we getting fit and we looking good and she battling stretch marks because the gym just ain't doing what the gym need to do. So then instead of Dr. GYM, she want to go to Dr. JIM. And women walking around here stitching their self-esteem together. Walking around here got whole rakes on their eyes. Trying to look pretty and got to put a whole rake on the eye. Walking around, you can't even have a conversation with them. Eyelashes around here doing like this. You trying to talk to a woman, eyelashes just flying in your eye. You having a conversation, you catching eyelashes because she's stitching her self-esteem together. We ain't got to go put lashes on and put a face full of makeup on and go get our lip pumped up.
So you can see that the last one, of course, is the self-esteem / body positivity, you know, gaining weight either after pregnancy or just in terms of trying to stay looking good. That also falls on the man. Now, what I can tell you is that I've seen it firsthand. I've seen lots and lots of women have multiple kids and go right back down to their pre-pregnancy weight. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. What I'm saying is that I have seen women have children and go back down to their weight and not make a big deal out of it. But again, in our community, we carry this thing where that is on the guy. You got to make her not only feel better, give her self-esteem, because we know helping someone have self-esteem is difficult as making someone happy. It's hard. That's nearly an impossible ask. But we're asked to participate in not only helping her get back in shape, but helping her feel good about it. And even if she doesn't get back in shape, she's doing all these things like wearing eyelashes and getting tummy tucks and all that. And she's doing that, quote unquote, for you. I have been overseas long enough to know that it's just too much stuff on the quote unquote black male, be a man, what a real man is plate. And that plate is a lot smaller for men overseas. I see pay for the stuff, pay for the rent, make sure we're stable, lead the family in a good direction, and I got the rest. I would just say that some of you guys are going to go overseas and you're going to be really surprised that the definition of masculinity is not this floating Superman definition. You pay the bills, you protect your family, and other things fall into place, and you look around like, wow, I can do this. And you're going to learn to leave some of that extra baggage that is being heaped on the quote unquote be a man plate back home. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.